here is definitely of serious concern when we think about the safety of the people in this neighborhood. Again, he's doing at least double the speed limit down very, very narrow residential streets. And so right now, it's up to that air unit to call out the location. Again, LA County's airship, LA County Sheriff's Department airship overhead here as he continues to move down Budlong Avenue and Jefferson Boulevard. Again, slowing down a little bit here, but we've seen him at some points hit some of these dips at these intersections and some of these speed bumps at a very high rate of speed, almost losing control of the vehicle and coming again into very close proximity. Although as far as we know, in terms of what we have been able to witness, we have not witnessed any collisions, but just judging from the condition of the vehicle, you could see another piece of the vehicle hanging off and being dragged along the right side of the car there, certainly indicative of some collisions that we may not have been privy to earlier on in this pursuit. It's been going on for the better part of 25 minutes or so, maybe even longer than that. Again, originated in Hawthorne and eventually got onto the 110 freeway. CHP making the decision to give this one up, and again, just let the sheriffs continue to follow from above. We will see where he ultimately ends up. There have been several occasions where he's almost come to a complete stop, and you thought maybe this would end in a foot bail, including at one point on the freeway. He pulled over on the shoulder, but then he kept on going, and again has continued this wild joyride through the streets of South LA here. Again, we are not calling it a pursuit at this point because there is nobody behind him. But if the driving continues as dangerously as we are witnessing here, that could change. And again, that would be up to the LAPD, because that is the jurisdiction that he's in now. Look at this, a three-point turn here, doing a U-turn on Juliet Street. Saw something he didn't like. At the end of that street. Not sure what it was, but he decided to make a U-turn and is now going the opposite way. I believe that's going to put him on the eastbound side here as he makes his way towards Adams Boulevard.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, does that driver have a mask on? It looked like they had a mask on.
I did not get a good look at the driver, to be honest with you. I know they did call out a brief description. It was fairly benign. I did not actually get a description of the passenger who jumped out, and I just haven't gotten a good enough glimpse through that driver's side windshield. But he may have a mask. You may be right about that. I just have not gotten a really good look through there. Again, he's kind of reversed course here. The same streets that he was traversing just moments ago, he is now going in the opposite direction, just kind of making this up as he goes along. At least he appears to be making it up, and now coming to a stop at the stop sign for one of the first. Yeah, he really hasn't obeyed many of the traffic laws or signs, but in this case, he is starting to slow down, and that may be a consequence of having nobody behind him. He may start to feel a little bit relieved. Maybe he thinks that he is just on his own here. Obviously, there are several helicopters overhead watching his movements. He's now done a full circle here as he makes his way around the USC campus here. Again, just several blocks south of USC.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we have a good location of where you are. And, you know, again, as we know, with the sun going down later, it just stays light, and a lot of people enjoy going out on a Friday night. So it does make me very concerned for any person who might be in this neighborhood. Ellen Leyva is now joining us now for Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. And Chris, we're going to stay on this pursuit. I just wanted to have Ellen join in as well. But Ellen, you can see this driver is really driving pretty dangerously through this area.
Right, through surface streets. It's such a busy time of day. And Chris, tell us what city you're in right now.
Yeah, we're actually in the West Adams district. I stand corrected. I said south of USC. He's actually just north of USC, about to approach the campus. He's just south of the 110 freeway in the West Adams district, now moving southbound towards the campus. He might bypass the campus completely here along the east side of USC. I have just lost my camera temporarily, but he has maybe made a... Rob, did he make a westbound turn there? He is now going west. He's now going west on, I believe, Exposition Boulevard. So still in the West Adams area near Expo Park as he refuses to pull over here. But he has no reason to pull over, really. There's nobody behind him. So what they're waiting for is for him to eventually pick a destination and then get out of the vehicle or run out of gas. Those are pretty much the two options here, and if he slows down, it should be one of those two. Of course, if he continues, as he just went through that red light there, if he continues some of the wild driving we've been seeing, well then certainly you have the possibility of a major crash. And I really thought when we first pulled up on this pursuit, guys, as they were tracking him from above, I would have sworn that he was going to end up crashing into something or somebody. And certainly judging from the condition of the vehicle, as I mentioned, it looks like he has hit something, but he is slowing down a little more composed here, but still going right through these red lights. Yeah, continuing down West Adams Boulevard, now encountering a little bit of traffic here. He's signaling a left turn at Western. So he's at Adams Boulevard and Western, and we'll see if he does make the left turn here. But he's not going around traffic. He feels comfortable enough sitting behind these two cars who are sitting at a red light, and he is in that left turn lane. So we're seeing a little bit of change in behavior here as he kind of decides what he wants to do, where he wants to go. Again, LA County Sheriff keeping an eye on him, calling out the position, and perhaps they may be able to triangulate units in this vicinity. But right now, he is continuing the joyride without anybody behind him, so he's got very little pressure and very little reason to continue pushing the pedal to the metal at high rates of speeds through these residential neighborhoods, which is really the intention of pulling back. When they decide to 1022 a pursuit, which is the code for cancel the pursuit, and they have the luxury of the helicopter overhead, the intention is to take some of the pressure off, lower the driver's adrenaline a little bit, and see if that changes his driving behavior. So he's continuing now west through a busy intersection, lots of cross traffic, through the red light, and is now continuing west, paralleling the 10 freeway, heading in towards West LA here, just south of the freeway. Right. Good question, and it could be one of several answers. Could be under the influence, could be completely intoxicated by alcohol or some other narcotic, and if it's not that, then it very well be a wild joyride in a car that does not belong to him, because so often when you steal the car, you don't tend to drive it like it's quite your own, and that is something we see very, very frequently. It's indicative of a stolen vehicle. However, we have no confirmation that this is a Grand Theft Auto suspect as of yet, but I would not be surprised at all. But certainly this has been going on for some time, and you can only help but wonder what condition it was in earlier this afternoon compared to what we're seeing now, again, with very heavy front-end damage and some debris, or I should say some car parts dragging along the right side of the vehicle. It leads you to believe that he must have run into something along the way here, and it makes you wonder again if he hits anything else, just how much longer this vehicle can get by here. So far, the wheels are intact, the axles are moving straight. He seems to have no problem controlling the steering, so it's handling okay for an older model Kia. But that could change in even a small collision that throws off, a bumper into the tire or what have you. There's so many ways that this vehicle can become disabled if it collides with anything else. I'm sorry, you repeat that one more time? There was at least one, and maybe even more. We only have confirmation of one person that got out of the vehicle, but it might have been more than one. They did go running through some houses in the South LA area, and I don't believe there were any patrol cars following this at that point. So those two, or at least that one suspect, the passenger, may have indeed gotten away, although the helicopter did call out that person's location, so maybe there's some hope there. But as for the driver himself, he appears to be the only one in the vehicle. We just can't confirm that because you can see from the driver's side here that rear rear window is pretty heavily tinted, just a little too hard to see if there's anybody else inside this compact SUV. So as far as we know, just the driver, but there could be more, always a possibility. No information on what the original want was here, which could sometimes tell us whether there's maybe a weapon or concern of a weapon in the vehicle or some other circumstance or background on what other crimes were committed here. But in any event, the joyride continues, just very, very random left and right turns, zigzagging his way through the South LA area near Slauson here. Coming up, he's going south now, away from the 10 freeway down 4th Avenue. Again, a little bit slower than he was, but still not obeying any of the stop signs, any of the red lights, just going for it, and really putting a lot of lives in danger in the process. I'm just trying to get a better look here through this driver's side window. It is certainly weird. The behavior here and the driving that we're seeing just seems so unnecessary. And I'll be honest with you, this is the type of situation, in full transparency here, that if he was to just slow down and start stopping at some of these stoplights and stop sign and red lights and stop signs, it is the kind of situation where, unless there's more to the story than we are fully aware of, it's the kind of situation that the Sheriff's Department and CHP would likely just let go at this point, because it may or may not be worth their time to invest or putting more lives in danger in terms of dedicating resources to put to put this into pursuit mode again. Again, we're in LAPD's jurisdiction. There are no LAPD units in the immediate vicinity, although they are certainly tracking the movements of this vehicle just in case this thing goes sideways. But as of right now, with nobody behind him, if he just started obeying the laws and the simple rules of the road, he would likely go home and get a good night's sleep tonight and never pay any consequence for the dangerous driving that we've seen here. The pursuit has been abandoned. CHP has given it up. The Sheriff's Department is just calling it out from above. LAPD, again, not involved in this tracking mission. So there is no chase. He is just on his own, making up these turns as he goes along and just getting a lot of attention in the process. But if he just slows down, even the helicopter would most likely call it off and basically move on to other police business. Now you see him stopping at a crosswalk, fortunately, as somebody crosses the street there. Again, making random turns left and right, no real rhyme or reason, which tells you that he doesn't have a clear destination in mind. And we'll see if that plays into the decision of that helicopter, who, as of right now, is still tracking his movements. I just have wallpaper. Yeah, and so far we really haven't seen that. That's the one thing we have not seen, although, again, as I first mentioned, when we first pulled up on this, it was much more daring. The driving was he was much faster. He was able to find lanes where he wasn't seeing much traffic as he is right now, where he's basically forced to stop. What we're not seeing is him trying to get around these cars. So, well, just as I say that, look at him pulling it into reverse. And watch him, just as we're talking about it, try and cross those double yellow lines. Look at this, guys. Right as we were mentioning it, he's going to try and pull into those oncoming lanes and squeeze through here. Maybe a U-turn. Nope, he's going the wrong way. Going the wrong way. And that is going to up the ante here for that Sheriff's Department helicopter, whether the LAPD decides to get involved here. Look at this, head-to-head through a busy intersection, now pulling into the correct lanes, and that is the type of move that is going to attract the attention of the LAPD. If he starts really putting lives in danger, the calculus changes, and so will his destiny. Gotten a little worse, picking up a little bit of steam here. It shows you that he's feeling a little bit of he's feeling a little cornered when he encounters any kind of traffic. Based on what we saw just there, you saw a few minutes ago, he made that U-turn for an unknown reason, but certainly he saw something he didn't like that really, he saw a jam in front of him that he was trying to get out of. When he sees these pickles, he gets desperate, and look at that, another busy intersection here at the red light, coming head-to-head with an innocent motorist, now crossing another busy intersection here. A lot of cross traffic, making a left turn there, right through at King Boulevard there, making a left turn as we make our way. We're in Leimert Park, or at least near Leimert Park, as he now, I believe, is going southbound, Rob? It looks like he's going eastbound. He's going eastbound towards USC. He's going eastbound towards USC now, and seeing a lot more rush hour traffic as he does so. It started in Hawthorne. CHP initiated the pursuit. They were the lead agency. And once he got off the 110 freeway, they followed him onto the 110, chased him up the 110, and pretty much once he got off the freeway, California Highway Patrol decided to abandon the pursuit, which gives you some indication that the original want may not have been all that serious. But what we have seen since then is some very dangerous driving, which certainly is serious to any objective observer here, but still not serious enough for LAPD to get involved and take over this pursuit. So it's a situation where, if I'm not mistaken, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, did the Sheriff's Department pull off, or are they still down there? They did. So the Sheriff's Department has now pulled off, and there is now no law enforcement monitoring this pursuit. They are watching television. They have ABC7 tuned in at their dispatch center, but I got to tell you, right now, it certainly looks like this driver is going to get away with a wild escapade here through South LA, unless things get even more dangerous. And then, of course, they will have to alter their decision-making here. But right now, he is just on a very dangerous joyride, but a joyride nonetheless. Yeah, we've seen a lot of near collisions, too many for my liking, and certainly the driving that we're seeing is actually kind of getting worse again as we make our way back towards the 10 freeway as he continues eastbound. I have to wonder whether he plans on taking the 10 freeway or if he just plans on continuing to meander through here as he gets off of Martin Luther King Boulevard, taking another residential street here, moving south. And look at that, another just very random turn that now continuing eastbound, but no real clear destination here. He is just making these decisions at the very last minute, hard-braking, wild right and left turns through busy intersections, and in some cases we have already seen several intersections with crosswalks and people crossing the street, which is really what makes me the most nervous, because if he continues driving like this, it becomes only a matter of time before somebody gets hurt here. In fact, I think everybody involved would rather see him on the freeway at this juncture. It just happens to be the middle of rush hour, and if he gets back on the freeway, he's going to be sitting in traffic, and that has proven to be something that he has chosen to stay away from. He sees traffic, he sees a traffic jam, he gets into a pickle, he starts getting more desperate, the driving gets more dangerous, and the cycle continues. So right now, coming up on Figueroa here, which is just a block off of the 10 freeway, we'll see if he makes a left or right. He's making the left, now coming northbound on Figueroa, and we'll try and push in here, see if we get one more glimpse into the driver's seat here. A little bit difficult to make out an accurate description here, but coming into a gas station, and that's one of the things that I am afraid of, because we have no idea how much fuel is in the tank, but that is one of the few ways that this will end, is if he runs out of fuel, he will either get out of the vehicle and run on foot, or hide out somewhere else and walk away, or he will try and get gas, which is always a possibility. Right now, he's trying to squeeze through here as he comes up on the 10 freeway, coming very close once again, communicating with a random motorist right next to him, pointing towards the sky. He's looking out the window, trying to communicate with that driver, now rolling the window down, and he's flashing gang signs at that driver. So whether he knows that person or recognizes the person, he may have even met up with somebody he knows. Very possible. Very, very possible. If he ran out of gas, he may have planned on doing a switcheroo here, and he may very well switch vehicles if he indeed is out of gas. Right now, looks like he's going to continue to gas it through this intersection, now making a right turn again off of King, and that'll put him on the freeway, southbound 10 freeway. And there comes LAPD. And here he is, stopping. Hold it here, let's hold up. We're going to hold up right here. He just hit the cop. He just reversed into that LAPD black and white, put it in reverse as those patrol officers were about to exit their vehicle and execute a felony stop. He immediately put it in reverse, and there has now been a collision with LAPD. That's going to change things dramatically here. It's just a matter of time now whether we see if he gives up. It looks like he is. Nope, he's going to keep going. The vehicle's moving. Guns trained on that vehicle. And now he's stepping out. That is the best possible resolution. As he steps out of the vehicle, you can see his legs now stepping out of the vehicle, walking backwards in the direction of that LAPD patrol car, and he has decided to give up. The smartest thing he's done all afternoon is give up right here when he did, because after coming into contact with that LAPD patrol car, guys, you now have attempted assault on a law enforcement officer, which changes everything. It changes everything. Fortunately, we get to see a peaceful resolution here as this comes to an end on the 10 freeway, on the 110 freeway rather, just off to the side here on the shoulder. You can see in the middle of rush hour, more LAPD black and whites pulling in, back up, pulling into position as they prepare to take the driver into custody. And then the next step will obviously be searching the vehicle for anybody else. But he is underneath the Vernon overpass, and we will see him now step towards these officers. Yep, that's about the best case scenario that we could have hoped for, especially when you think about some of the dangerous driving, especially during the last couple of minutes there. More backup pulling into position. The suspect, I believe, is still proned out in front of the PD vehicle, Rob, am I right? Yeah, he's still proned out there on the ground. They just want to make triple sure that there is nobody else inside of that Kia. Very, very intense. And, you know, I'm sorry, I've got to turn this radio off here. You know, there was a chance, like I said earlier, that if he just slowed down and started, you know, driving even, you know, remotely more safe, he likely would have gotten away completely. But I think the dangerous joyride on live television sometimes, you know, has the ability to change the calculus for law enforcement, including LAPD, and it certainly appears they decided enough is enough. This was getting too dangerous. They had enough units right there in the vicinity, and they were able to get him right as he was getting onto the freeway there, and now you can see them taking him into custody. Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, it is starting to impact traffic. You can see them tying up the right two lanes. Traffic is getting by on the left. They've now shut down the entrance ramp to the Harbor Freeway, but it's the absolute worst time of the day. If we widen out, well, first let's zoom in here, make sure there's nobody else inside the car. It certainly appears they are about to give the code 4 here. Yeah, code 4, nobody else inside that car. But let's go ahead and widen out, and you can see what this has done to the afternoon commute here. Southbound side of the 110 freeway, is all jammed up straight through downtown LA. If you are heading home from work right now, be prepared for a very slow Friday evening commute. Absolutely, a sigh of relief for everybody.